Alright everyone, welcome back to the second half of the prologue of Fate's Stay Night. We're about to finally get into the whole, I believe, summoning of the servants at long last, so we'll finally get to see, or you all that haven't experienced this franchise yet will see how the servants are summoned in the first place. It's pretty interesting. So, if anything else, we all continue to enjoy. Thank you again for the love and support. Let's see this one through. Alright everyone, welcome back. The clock is about to strike 2. This is the best time frame for my magical energy. The peak of my magical energy is exactly 2 in the morning. Since this will be my first and last chance, I can't afford any mistakes. We draw within
消去の中に大挙。大挙の陣を4つ刻んで召喚の陣で囲むと。
My bad. Alright. I engraved this circle onto the floor of the basement. You don't need a large-scale summoning to summon the servant. Servants are called forth by the Holy Grail. As the Master's priority is to keep the servant in this world and to supply them with enough magical energy to substantiate, the Holy Grail takes care of the summoning.
Sony, 銀と鉄。礎に石と契約の対抗。ソニは我が大使、シュバインヨング。降り立つ風には壁を。四方の門は閉じ、王冠より出。王国に至る三サロは循環せよ。
Still, I continue with the greatest concentration. I draw the magical circle, normally written in blood with my melted jewels. I'm using half the jewels I've saved up so I can't fail for financial reasons too.
満たせ、満たせ、満たせ、満たせ、満たせ。繰り返し都度に5度。ただ、満たされる時を破却する。
It's almost 2 in the morning. Completing the magic circle passed down to the Tohsaka family, I faced it with all my power.
アンフォン。
I flipped the formless switch inside me. I feel a sensation as if the contents of my body are being exchanged. The usual nerves invert into circuits transmitting magical energy. From this point, Tohsaka Rin is not human. I shall become a tool to attain mystic power. I am melting from my fingertips. No, I'm being filled from my fingertips. The mana I am taking in is so concentrated that the original senses of my body are being repainted. So being filled is the same as being destroyed. The power that fills me is pure magical energy from the air. It is absorbed by my body, which has become a circuit, and transformed into a different form of magical energy. The body of a magus is nothing more than a circuit. A circuit to connect the spiritual and the real. Recall the result of this, the many mystic occurrences it has made real, magic. My body is burning hot. An illusion of myself growing horns. An illusion of wings growing out of my back. An illusion of scales forming on my hands. A sensation of being in water. I start to sweat. Stab, stab. Swords are driven into my body. This is the pain caused by my human body rejecting itself as the magic circuit. No matter how great a magus you are, a human is human. This pain will result as long as people use magic in the human body. But I did not loosen my circulation. At the end of this pain, on the verge of elimination, lies the place of connection. Pain running through my left arm. The magic crest starts up on its own to help me, and as a result, violates my nerves even more. The harvested mana in my blood, If that is burning iron, then the magic crest itself is like a nerve made of thorns. It runs through my body like a centipede with fangs. I lose myself within that pain. And at the same time, I feel that I've reached my goal. My overly sensitive hearing keeps recognizing the sound of the clock in the living room. 10 more seconds until 2 in the morning. The power within me is perfect and flawless. Let's start. I take the mana I absorbed and turn it into the fixed magical energy. And now, I have only to empty out the mana within me to move the engine called the summoning circle.
告げる。汝の身は我が元に。我が命運は汝の権威。聖杯のウルベに従い、この意、この断りに従うならば答えよ。
My vision closes. The fifth element said to be unperceivable by human eyes is before me. So in fear of being broken by it, vision shuts itself down.
誓いをここに。我は常世すべての善となるもの。我は常世すべての悪を敷くもの。汝三代の言霊をまといしつてる。抑止の輪より来たれ。天秤の守り手よ。
Perfect. It's so perfect I feel like I'm tugging on a whale with a fishing rod.
完璧。間違いなく最強のカードを引き当てた。
Jeez, I can't wait for my vision to return. My vision should recover in a matter of seconds, and there will be the summoned servant right in front of me. Nothing.
はい？
Nothing is nothing? There's no change. I raged out that much ether, and nothing is formed. And on top of that, I hear an explosion from the living room.
なんでよ！
I run. I keep running without thinking. I run up the basement stairs and into the living room.
扉壊れてる。
The living room door is crooked. There's no point in turning the handle. The door doesn't open even as I push and pull it.
もう邪魔だから。
With a crash, I kick through the door into the living room. And the instant I walk into the living room, I understand everything. The living room is in a big mess. It's full of rubble that must have fallen from the ceiling, and there's one man sitting on it cockily. Without a doubt, that is the cause of this mess. But there's one thing more important than that. The wall clock is still ticking away time, having escaped destruction. That reminds me. Yes, that's right. Come to think of it, every clock in my house was an hour early today for some reason. In other words, it's 1 in the morning right now. There's actually 1 more hour until my magical energy is at its peak.
またやっちゃった。
I can do most things just like everyone else, but I have one hereditary curse. That is, to make the biggest mistakes at the most important times.
やっちゃったことは仕方ない。反省。
I am mad at my own stupidity. Still irritated, I glare at the man sitting there like he's important.
それで、あんた何？
開口一番それか。これはまたとんでもないマスターに引き当てられたものだ。
On the contrary. The man in red gives an exaggerated shrug. Maybe I'm the most unlucky of all, he adds. I do declare. This guy has a twisted personality. That may be, but he's one of my favorites. But this would be the servant? Since they call it a familiar, I thought it was something shapeless, but this is human-like. No, that's wrong. Just standing here, I can tell this thing has outrageous amounts of magical energy. Don't be fooled by its appearance. This is certainly an existence far beyond human, a ghost that has reached the level of spirits as a human. I can't be overwhelmed forever. That thing is mine, so I'll have to change my thinking from now on.
確認するけど、あなたは私のサーバントで間違いない？
それはこちらが聞きたいな。君こそ私のマスターなのか？ここまで乱暴な召喚は初めてでね。正直状況がつかめない。
私だって初めてよ。そういう質問は却下するわ。
そうか。だが私が召喚された時に君は目の前にいなかった。これはどういうことなのか説明してくれ。
本気？ひな鳥じゃあるまいし、目を開けた時にしか主を決められないなんて冗談はやめてよね。
The unknown servant frowns. It's a rather vague response, and I cannot tell if he's angry at my complaint or impressed at how correct I am.
まあいいわ。私が聞いているのはね、あなたが他の誰でもないこの私のサーバントかってことだけよ。それをはっきりさせない以上、他の質問に答える義務はないわ。
召喚に失敗しておいてそれか。この場合他にいろいろと言うべきことがあると思うのだが。
そんなのないわよ。主従関係は一番初めにはっきりさせておくべきものだもの。
The servant raises his brow. Perhaps because it was an imperfect summoning, this guy isn't even trying to hide his dissatisfaction with me.
主従関係ははっきりさせておくか。やることは失点だらけだが口だけは達者らしい。ああ、確かにその意見には賛成だ。どちらが強者でどちらが弱者なのか明確にしておかなければお互いやりづらかろう。
You know, it's funny, in all the times I've played this visual novel, and I've seen this scene over and over, and I enjoyed the, you know, how it looks like this, I never paid attention to his foot and this chair here. Like, I always assumed this foot was just on the floor. It was never leaning or, like, stepping on an already broken chair like this. Like, this is all I saw, this cool visual right here. The servant looks at me meaningfully as he lays in the rubble.
どちらが弱者かですって？
ああ、私もサーバントだ。呼ばれたからには主従関係を認めるさ。だがそれはあくまで契約上の話だろう。どちらがより優れたものか、共に戦うにふさわしい相手かを測るのは別になる。さてその件でいくと、君は私のマスターにふさわしい魔術師なのかな、お嬢さん。
The servant grins. He smashes my house, and that attitude like he's king makes me angry enough, but now he asks me if I'm worried to be a master?
あなたの意見なんて聞いてないわ。私が聞いているのは、あなたが私のサーバントかどうかってことだけよ。
I glare at him. I will not lose to someone who looks down on me this frankly.
ほう、なるほどなるほど。そんな当たり前のことは答えるまでもないと。実に勇ましい。いや、気概だけなら立派なマスターだが。
だから順番を間違えるなっていうの。一番初めに確認するのは召喚者の務めよ。さあ答えなさい。あなたは私のサーバントなのね。
I step forward, ready to attack depending on his answer.
強情なお嬢さんだ。これでは話が進まんな。仕方あるまい。仮に私が君のサーバントだとしよう。で、その場合君が私のマスターなのか。いやまあ、あくまで仮の話だが。
当たり前じゃない。あなたが私に呼ばれたサーバントなら、あなたのマスターは私以外に誰がいるっていうのよ。
I somehow cool my boiling head and glare at this rude guy.
おう、そうか。まあ仮の話なんだが、とりあえずそうだとしよう。それで君が私のマスターである証はどこにある？
The servant talks nonsense, grinning. He must think I'll panic about this proof of master thing.
ここよ。あなたのマスターである証ってこれでしょ？
うん。
I show him the command spell in the back of my right hand. Heh, don't think I don't know anything. My father talked a lot about master, so I know about the command spell.
納得いった？これでもまだ文句を言うの？
I thrust before him the proof that I'm a master. The servant in the rubble looks confused. Then,
まあ言ったな。本気で言っているのか、お嬢さん。
his face clouds with discontent.
本気かってなんでよ？
その考えがだ。霊樹があればマスターなのか？霊樹などサーバントを利する道具に過ぎないだろう。まったくそんな形だけのものでマスターブルとはな。私が見たかったのは君が忠誠を振るうにふさわしい人物かどうかだったのだが。
That's true, but you'd normally think of the command spell when talking about the proof that one's a master.
何よ。それじゃあ私はマスター失格？
そう願いたいが、そうはいくまい。霊樹がある以上、私の召喚者は君のようだ。信じがたいが、君は本当に私のマスターらしいな。
He gives an exaggerated shrug on his shoulders. This is bad. My boiling point is so low, it seems I won't be able to cool down in time.
全くもって不満だが、認めよう。とりあえず、君は私のマスターだ。だが、私にも条件がある。私は今後、君の言い分には従わない。戦闘方針は私が決めるし、君はそれに従って行動する。これが最大の譲歩だ。それで構わないな、お嬢さん。
I think this is it, father. I'm almost at my limit.
そう。不満だけど認めるくせに私の意見には取り合わないってどういうことかしら？あなたは私のサーバントなんでしょ？
I ask him in a trembling voice just in case. There's the issue of the command spell too, so this is my last warning, the biggest compromise I can make. And to that.
ああ、形の上だけはな。故に形式上は君に従ってやる。だが戦うのは私自身だ。君はこの家の地下にでも隠れて聖杯戦争が終わるまでじっとしていればいい。
And this here, ladies and gents, is the one mistake the man in red has made.
それなら未熟な君でも命だけは助かるだろう。
He tells me he has no hope for me with eyes full of disdain.
怒ったのか？いや、もちろん君の立場は尊重するよ。私はマスターを勝利させるために呼ばれたものだからな。私の勝利は君のものだし、戦いで得たものは全て君にくれてやる。それなら文句はなかろう。どうせ君に霊樹は使えまい。まあ、後のことは私に任せて、君は自分の身の安全を。
あ、玉来た！いいわ、そんなに言うなら使ってやろうじゃない。アンファン。
There's no holding back now. I have no sympathy for a twisted guy like him.
まさか。
そのまさかよ、この礼儀知らず。フィアトラーク、アインノイエルナーゲル。 Ein neues Gesetz, ein neues Verbrechen.
I announce the command spell by the order of the Holy Grail. Give the law of obedience to this one, my servant.
待て、正気かマスター。そんなことで霊樹を使うやつが。
She would, dude.
うるさい。いい？あんたは私のサーバントなら私の言い分には絶対服従ってもんでしょ。
なんだと。
The symbol in my right hand throbs. The three command spells. The essence of the Holy Grail war. The three claims of the servant's unconditional obedience is now used.
考えなしか君は。こんな大雑把なことに霊樹を使うなど。
Huh? It's too late now. First of all, I wasn't expecting this either. I hate myself so much I want to die. To go ahead and use the important command spell for something like this. So, leaving the ruined living room behind, we moved to my room. In front of me is the servant who should be absolutely obedient from my command spell. He's there, but...
なるほど。君の性質は大体理解したぞ、マスター。
How exactly is this absolutely obedient?
念のため尋ねるが、君は霊樹がどれほど重要か理解しているのか、マスター。
She still got 2 more left, so we're good.
知ってるわよ。サーバントを律する3回きりの命令権でしょ。それが何よ。
いいかね。霊樹はサーバントを強制的に行動させるものだ。それは行動を止めるだけでなく、行動を強化させるという意味でもある。例えば、私はここから遠くの場所まで瞬間的には移動できない。だが、霊樹で行けと命じれば、それが私と君の魔力で届くことならば可能となる。強制命令権とはそういうことだ。サーバント自身でも制御できない肉体の限界さえ突破させる大魔術の結晶が3つの霊樹なのだ。
知ってるわよ、そんなこと。いいじゃない、まだ2つあるんだし。あなたに命じた規則は無駄じゃないんだし。
確かにこれは私の誤算だった。霊樹というものは曖昧な命令には効きが弱くなる。私を守り通せ、この戦いに勝てなどといった広く長く効果が続くものには霊樹の力が弱くなる。効き目は長く続くが苦痛が小さいため逆らえるサーバントも出てくるだろう。逆に次の一撃を死ぬ気で放て、あのグラスだけは壊すなといった単一の命令は絶対で、よほど強力なサーバントでも逆らうのは難しくなる。さて、ここまでで私が言いたいことがわかるな、マスター。
わかるわよ。要するに広く長い命令は意味がないんでしょ。効果も戒めも薄いならサーバントは霊樹に逆らって行動できる。そんな効き目の薄い命令をするなら絶対的な単一の命令をした方がいい。
そうだ。霊樹とはもともと自分たちの能力以上の奇跡を起こすためのもの。それを代用の利く命令などで消費する具は許されない。君の先ほどの霊樹はまさにそれだ。私が君に従うかは話し合いで解決できたことだし、仮に霊樹を使ったところで全ての言動に絶対服従など霊樹が100あっても実現できない。
じゃあ私のさっきの霊樹は無意味ってこと？
通常ならそうなのだがな。どうも君の魔術師としての性能は桁が違ったらしい。
Is he happy or unhappy? The serpent has a smile on its face as he sighs.
桁が違ったって もしかしてちょっとあなた、自分が今どんな状態なのか正直に話してみなさい。
I have a gut feeling, so I ask him boldly.
ああ、誤算というのはそれだ。先ほどの命令では少しはマスターの意見を尊重しようという程度の心変わりにしかならない。だが今の私は君の言葉に強い強制を感じている。君の意見に異を唱えると、そうだな、ランクが一つばかり落ちるようだ。
In other words, Rin is bombastically powerful, huh? And you underestimated her. Surprise, surprise.
つまりマスターの意向に逆らうと体が重くなって動きづらいというところか。
The servant shrugs his shoulders as if to say it's a pain. That means the command spell wasn't meaningless and it worked in my favor? But this guy speaks as sarcastically as always, and it doesn't seem like he's any weaker at all. Though even if he is weakened when going against me, I doubt even 10 of me could take him on.
前言を撤回しよう、マスター。年齢は若いが、君は卓越した魔術師だ。
Damn straight she is.
子供と侮り、戦いから遠ざけようとしたのは私の過ちだった。無礼ともども謝ろう。
He adjusts his stance and bows his head politely.
やめてよ。確かにいろいろ言い合ったけど、そんなの喧嘩両成敗っていうか。
そうか。いや、話のわかるマスターで助かった。
なんか切り返し早いわね、あんた。
何？誤算は誤算だったが、嬉しい誤算というやつだったからな。これほどの才能があるのなら、君を戦いに巻き込むことに異論はない。
He seems to be saying he's found a powerful master, so...
じゃあ、霊樹抜きで私がマスターだって認めるのね。
無論だ。先ほどは召喚されたばかりで馴染んでいなかったが、今では完全につながった。
契約？
Now that he mentions it, my body does feel strange. It feels like the nerves once closed within me are now pointing outwards. And on top of that, part of my magical energy is flowing into the man in front of me.
そっか。サーバントは聖杯に呼ばれるけど、呼ばれたサーバントをこの世に留めるのは、
そう、マスターの力だ。サーバントはマスターからの魔力提供によってこの世に留まる。魔力提供量は十分だ。経験的に問題はありそうだが、君の能力は飛び抜けている。普通の魔術師ならばサーバントを召喚した瞬間に意識を失っているだろう。だというのに君は活力に満ちている。先ほどの霊樹といい、この魔力量といい、マスターとして君は間違いなく一流だ。
今更褒めたって何も出ないけど。
A bit embarrassed, I avert my gaze. I wasn't really expecting this. I'm forcing him to obey with the command spell, but for a servant, a being superior to humans, to honestly accept that I am his master.
で、あなた何のサーバント？
I collect myself and finally get to the point.
見てわからないか？あ、それは結構。
No, I was just mistaken before. This guy is certainly making fun of me.
わかったわ。これはマスターとしての質問よ。ねえ、あなたセイバーじゃないの？
残念ながら剣は持っていない。
As I suspected. This is natural, though. I mistook the time the summoning circle didn't work, and I even summoned the servant to the wrong place. It was all too clumsy to call Saber the strongest servant.
ドジったわ。あれだけ宝石を使っておいてセイバーじゃないなんて目も当てられない。
悪かったな、セイバーでなくて。
Yeah, oh, that must sting for you, huh?
え？ああ、 そりゃ通行のミスだから残念だけど、悪いのは私なんだから。
ああ、どうせアーチャーでは派手さに欠けるだろうよ。いいだろう。後で今の暴言を悔やませてやる。その時になって謝っても聞かないからな。
はい？
This is unexpected. The unknown servant seems disappointed by my fixation on Saber.
何？勘に触った？あーちゃん。
触った。見ていろ。必ず自分が幸運だったと思い知らせてやる。
Archer protests with narrow eyes. The air he carries is offensive, but his behavior seems childlike and pure. You know, he might be a pretty good guy.
そうね。それじゃあ必ず私を後悔させて、あーちゃん。そうなったら素直に謝らせてもらうから。
ああ、忘れるなよ、マスター。己が召喚したものがどれほどのものか知って感謝するがいい。もっともその時になって謝られてもこちらの気は晴れんだろうがな。
Archer grins again. Huh, maybe he does have a twisted personality after all.
まあいいわ。それであんたどこの英霊なのよ。
Archer doesn't answer. His sarcastic tone disappears and he frowns seriously.
あーちゃん？マスターである私がサーバントであるあなたに聞いているんだけど。
それは秘密だ。
は？
私がどのようなものだったかは答えられない。
あのね、つまんない理由だったら怒るわよ。
それは。
Oh, that face again. Archer must be really troubled as he opens his mouth like he'd rather not say anything.
なぜかというと自分でもわからない。
Wait, what was that?
はあ？何よそれ。あんた私のことバカにしてるわけ？
マスターを侮辱するつもりはない。ただこれは君の不完全な召喚のツケだぞ。どうも記憶に混乱が見られる。自分が何者であるかはわかるのだが名前や素性がどうも曖昧だ。まあさして重要な欠落ではないから気にすることはないのだが。
気にすることはない。気にするわよそんなの。あんたがどんな英霊か知らなきゃどのくらい強いのかわからないじゃない。
なんだ、そんなことは問題ではなかろう。さまつな問題だよそれは。
さまつってあんたね、相棒の強さがわからないんじゃ作戦の立てようがないでしょ。そんなんで戦っていけるわけないじゃない。
何を言う。私は君が呼び出したサーバントだ。それが最強でないはずがない。
Straightforwardly, the knight in red looks at me with absolute confidence and trust. Believe it or not, this guy is incredibly powerful, so it won't matter. She made no mistake in summoning him. My thoughts freeze. There's no dishonesty in Archer's words. He thinks more highly of my power than I do, even though we've only just met. My face is burning. Geez, I'm definitely blushing. Why am I so weak against unexpected things?
もういいか。誰にも正体がわからないってことには変わりはないんだし、敵を騙すにはまず味方からって言うし。
I say this to hide my embarrassment, looking away from Archer. Well, we can find out later how good a servant he is. For now, I have a higher priority.
わかった。しばらくあなたの正体に関しては不問にしましょう。それじゃあじゃあ最初の仕事だけど。
早速か。好戦的だな君は。それで敵は？
As he's asking, I throw a dustpan and broom in front of him.
うん。
下の掃除お願い。 あんたが散らかしたんだから責任持ってきれいにしといてね。
Even though you're the one that summoned him and he ended up in the room like that? Alright. He stands there blankly for 10 seconds. After recovering his thoughts, he grabs the broom ready to make an objection.
待て。君はサーバントを何だと思っている？
Exactly what the name implies.
使い魔でしょ？ちょっと生意気で扱いに困るけど。
Archer swallows his words. I don't intend to take back my words, and I do have a trump card.
異議あり。そのような命令はこと。
いいの？これマスターとしての命令よ。マスターの方針に逆らったら体が重くなるんだっけ？まあ、あなたはその程度じゃどうってことないだろうけど、そのペナルティは今を掃除するまで続くのよ。そんな状態で明日から戦っていくのは危ないんじゃない？
He groans for a few seconds, clenching the broom. The servant in the red coat, Archer, closes his eyes in dismay.
了解した。地獄に落ちろ、マスター。
Wow, that command spell is really powerful, huh? He acknowledges my request gracefully. Well, it's getting late, so I should rest for the night. I can decide about how to treat him after I wake up. The day of fate comes to a close. No, this night is the start of fate. There are 6 including myself now. Once the last one summons a servant, the 7th one who is not yet a master, this Holy Grail War will commence. It's not far ahead. The battle I've waited 10 years for is about to commence. February 1st. I forgot they dated it too. The Holy Grail War. It is a great ritual which has been practiced for hundreds of years. If one enters the ritual, one must eliminate the other 6 as it is a battle for one's life. It is said that the Holy Grail is in the land of Fuyuki, and that many magi have fought each other here in the past. They had only one purpose, to obtain the noble phantasm called the Holy Grail. But the origin of the Holy Grail is unknown. It's certain that it's never received the blood of God, but its power matches that of one in the legend. Yes, it is said that the Holy Grail can grant any wish. Only one has the right to possess it. The Holy Grail can only grant one wish for one person, but 7 magi are needed to summon the Holy Grail on this land. 1 miracle, 7 collaborators. Well, the point is, it is only a matter of time before a fight broke out over the Holy Grail. It began like an ordinary fight over resources. The 7 magi used the power of the Holy Grail equally to each summon a familiar, a servant to battle the other magi. Only 1 magus will obtain the Holy Grail, and so, each of them treated the other 6 once allies, now as enemies, and a gruesome fight began. This is the ritual called the Holy Grail War, a competition between magi for the Holy Grail. The magi chosen by the Holy Grail are called masters, and each master receives a powerful familiar called a servant by the grace of the Holy Grail. There are 2 proofs that one is a master: summoning a servant and making it obey, and obtaining the 3 command spells that can order the servant. The first goes without saying. Yesterday, no, a few hours ago to be exact, I summoned Archer to be my servant. That leaves only the second. I must protect to the end this command spell that binds the servant. For a master, this is probably the most important thing of all. The pattern inscribed on my right hand after summoning Archer, this is the command spell. This holy sign granted by the Holy Grail is the proof of a master who has summoned a servant. This mark with concentrated magical energy is an instantaneous thing, not an eternal one. It is consumed by use and, as the appearance suggests, it has 1 use for each strike. In other words, only 3 times. A master who loses all 3 of the command spells will be unable to control their servant and faces death. So, the command spell must be guarded as closely as one's life. It hurts my head to think that I've used one right at the start, but it wasn't completely meaningless, so I'll call it good. because it's not unusual for our servants to go against their masters. I'm fortunate to have been able to chain him using a command spell. Well, that's the gist of it. The Holy Grail War will start when the 7 servants are all summoned. I can't just sleep in. I don't know when the last master will appear, but it should be soon.
I'm
so tired. Looking out the window dazed, I notice the sun's already way up.
9時過ぎてる。遅刻どころの話じゃない。
Glancing at the clock, I confirmed to myself that I'll be skipping school today.
体が重い。半分以上持ってかれたみたいね、これは。
I sit up in bed and take a deep breath. I'm not tired, just because I'm not a morning person. Like Archer said, a master who has just summoned their servant cannot function satisfactorily.
そうだった。私、セイバーじゃなくってアーチャーを呼び出したんだ。
I can remember clearly. Well, it's not something I want to remember, but even if I don't like it, there's no second chance.
魔力が戻るまで1日ちょいか。今日は慣らし運転ってことにしよう。
I slowly climb out of bed. I fight a bit against the unseasonably warm air and my desire to stay wrapped up in my blanket. I knock out the desire to go back to sleep in the 3rd second of the match and check myself in the mirror. Things are obviously wrong, except for the fact that I have only about half the usual magical energy in my body. Everything's up to par.
まあ、問題なんてあるわけないけど。
For now, I want to check the situation. The servant I summoned is Archer. He's a rude guy with no manners to spare for his summoner and master. And on top of that, he doesn't know who he is. Oh, I'm getting a headache already.
あいつの記憶が戻るまで切り札は封印か。思い出せないんじゃ使いようがないしね。
Servants are powerful familiars on their own, but what makes them the most powerful is the fact that they all have one powerful secret move. The problem is, Archer says he can't remember what it is.
まあ、火はこっちにもあるし、なんとかやっていくしかないか。
That's right, as this is how things ended up, we're both in the same boat. I hope he sorts out his memories soon, but with the way he's acting right now, who knows when that'll be. Honestly, looks like we've got a lot of problems ahead.
あ、見直したかもこれ。
The living room is just the way it was. I only expected him to clear up the rubble, so I'm moved that he went this far. He must have felt bad about making such a mess of the living room or he wouldn't have done this. Again, I'm pretty sure that's all Tohsaka, but again, we'll let her have this. I should call him admirable or maybe just a nice guy.
日はとっくに昇っているぞ。また、随分とだらしがないんだな、君は。
I take it back. The shameless attitude. He doesn't deserve any praise at all.
おはよう。そういうあんたは随分とリラックスしてるようね。今を好き勝手使ってくれちゃってさ。
何？一晩過ごした部屋だからな。どこに何があるか把握したよ。おう、ついでだから厨房も片付けておいた。もう少し荒れているかと思ったが、なかなか気の行き届いた厨房だ。一人暮らしの洋館にしては上等だな。
I'm getting a headache. Why is my servant checking my cleanliness? They say servants think only of battles, so maybe this guy's broken somehow.
なるほど。本調子ではなさそうだな。昨夜は元気だったが、睡眠をとって疲れが出たのだろう。紅茶でよければご馳走しよう。
So at home in a stranger's house, Archer stands, takes out a new teacup without a moment's confusion, and pours a fine rose-colored tea. There are all sorts of things I want to say, but I surprisingly don't feel like interrupting him. Every aspect of his motion is refined, and you can even say he's being considerate.
まあいいけど、疲れてるのは事実だし、飲む。
I take a seat. As he hands me the teacup silently, and I take a sip. Oh, it's good. Of course, it's an exotic Chinese tea. It's the best part of my favorite leaf, so I'd get mad if it tasted bad. In fact, I get mad when someone uses one of my favorites without permission. Yes, I would get mad, but when it's brewed so wonderfully, I'm too happy to complain.
ちょっと、何笑ってるのよ、あんた。
You seem so haughty right now.
何、感想が聞きたかったが、その顔では聞くまでもないと思っただけだ。
I slammed the cup down to the table.
もったいない。熱いうちに味わった方がいいぞ。私が気に障るなら消えているが。
ごちそうさま。結構よ。私は茶坊主が欲しくてマスターになったわけじゃないわ。あなたもね、頼みもしないことをする必要はないわよ。
そうか。確かに私も茶坊主になったり後片付けをするために契約したわけではない。君がそういうのならばこれからは気をつけよ
う。ええ、私が求めているのは戦力としての使い魔よ。家事をこなすサーバントなんて聞いたことがないし、する必要も特にないわ。
ん？特にはないとはどういう意味かな？
別に好きなようにとって結構よ。それよりあなた自分の正体を思い出せた？
Archer shakes his head. Just as I thought, it's bad. If you can't remember it after one night, it's not gonna come back easily. Even if we test various things today, this is still.
わかった。あなたの記憶に関してはおいおい対策を考えとく。じゃあ出かける支度をして、ハッチャー。召喚されたばかりで勝手もわからないでしょ。街を案内してあげるから。
出かける支度？いや、そんな必要はないだろう。出るのならばすぐに出られるが。
あのね、そんな格好で出歩くつもり？どう見ても普通じゃないし、他のマスターが見たら一発でサーバントってわかるじゃない。私、自分から私はマスターですなんて言いふらす気はないんだけど。
ああ、そういうことか。それも問題はない。確かに着替える必要はあるが、それは実体化している時だけでね。サーバントはもともと霊体だ。非戦闘時には霊体になってマスターにかける負担を減らす。
ああ、そっか。召喚されたって英霊は英霊だものね。霊体に肉体を与えるのはマスターの魔力なんだから、私が魔力提供をカットすれば。
自然。我々も霊体に戻る。そうなったサーバントは守護霊のようなものだ。レイラインでつながっているマスター以外には観測されない。もっとも会話程度はできるから偵察ならば支障はないが。
わ、便利。それじゃあ本当に他のマスターを探し出すなんて難しいんだ。
ああ。だが魔術師は魔術師を知覚できるだろう。それと同じでサーバントもサーバントを感知できる。優れた魔術を知るサーバントならば遠く離れたサーバントの位置さえ把握するだろう。
Just as Archer says, a master is usually a great magus. A magus with strong magical energy is sensitive to other magical energy. But as far as I know, no one in this town has magical energy that strong.
で、あんたはどうなの？他のサーバントの位置、わかる？
マスター、 私のクラスは何か忘れたのか？遠く離れた敵の位置を探るなど、騎士上がりにできるものか？
Well, I guess not. Archer's magical energy isn't that strong. I expect only the servant caster would have enough magical energy to locate enemies from a distance.
わかったわ。じゃあとりあえず後についてきて、あーちゃん。あなたの呼び出された世界を見せてあげるから。
そう目新しいものではなさそうだがね。それよりマスター、君、大切なことを忘れていないか？
え？大切なことって何？
まったく。君、まだ本調子ではないぞ。契約において最も重要な交換を私たちは未だしていない。
契約において最も重要な交換。
Equivalent exchange? No, fundamentally, the reward for the servant is to participate in the Holy Grail War. There shouldn't be any more exchanges necessary.
君な。朝は弱いんだな、本当に。
Archer says so in surprise. Listening to a sarcastic comment, I realized something. Come to think of it, he hasn't addressed me by my name yet.
ああ、しまった。名前。
思い当たったか？まあ、今からでも遅くはないさ。それでマスター、君の名前は？これからは何と呼べばいい？
Archer asks sulkily. Damn it, he is a good person. Yes, there's no mistake. After all, there's no meaning to exchanging names. Servant and master have a relationship forced upon them by the command spell. For a contract with a normal familiar, the exchange of names has a great deal of meaning, but no such bond is needed between the master and the servant. But still, Archer calls it important. It's a proof of trust that we shall be fighting alongside each other, even without the command spell.
私、遠坂凛よ。あなたの好きなように呼んでいいわ。
I answer bluntly, unable to be true to my feelings. Well, actually, it would probably be easier for me to be addressed in a reserved manner like you or master, and he'll probably call me that. But that said, Archer mutters my name to himself.
それでは、リンと。ああ。この響きは、実に君に似合っている。
He says something outrageous.
リン、どうした？何やら顔色がおかしいが。
うるさい！いいからさっさと行くわよ、あーちゃん。とにかくのんびりしてる暇なんてないんだから。
I turn away and start walking. I'm vexed. I don't know why, but I am. Did Archer say that just to make me feel this way?
ありえる。こいつなら絶対そうだ。
Yeah, indirectly too. Yes, that must be it. So my face getting hot and my heart pounding, they're all part of his plan. Be careful, Rin. You're going to have to work with this crooked guy from now on. I go out with Archer. The city we live in, Fuyuki City, can be basically divided into two towns. Here, the place with old houses and traditional buildings is Miyama City. On the other side of the river is Shinto, where modern development is happening. My house is in the older section, Miyama City. Miyama City is broadly separated into two sections as well. This is one of the sections, the Western-style houses where immigrants from foreign countries live. And on the other side is the area of the old Japanese-style houses with a mountain behind it. Both sections are on top of hills, so you could say both are suburbs. The houses in between these two sections are relatively ordinary. As a demonstration, they're disordinary. This is the crossroads of Miyama City, and the hill leading up to the Western-style houses like mine. On the opposite side, a hill leads up to the Japanese-style houses. A bridge leads to the neighboring town of Shinto, and the other way leads to the school, shopping district, and even Ryodo Temple up on the mountain. And This is the large bridge connecting Shinto and Miyama City. A few years ago, a big station was built over that side and it has grown rapidly since then. Even though Miyama City and Shinto are in the same city, you can think of them as totally different places. The city's name, Fuyuki, or Winter Tree, supposedly comes from the fact that winters are long here. Thinking about it, this place certainly has a long winter. In contrast though, it's quite warm here and February here is about as warm as December everywhere else. I bet a few hot springs would turn up if you went digging around. Then again, this half-hearted cold would make the city a poor hot springs resort. Fuyuki City has a friendly winter and a strange climate that enters spring and April with no changes. Shinto is all like this. The rapidly developing town started to build tall buildings as if rushed by something, and as a result, it looks very artificial. Though that's only in the last 10 years. From what I hear, the big fire here 10 years ago pretty much burned down the whole residential district. These buildings were constructed on the land no one lived on anymore. And this is the center of it.
ここが神都の公園よ。これで主だったところを歩いて回ったわけだけど、感想は？
I ask Archer who's standing next to me. I can't see him, of course.
広い公園だ。だというのに人気がないのは何か理由でもあるのか？
やっぱりそう見える？まあ、ここはちょっとした曰くがあるから。
Look around the park. A park this big and organized should be a playground for kids even on weekdays. But there are only a few people here and a desolate feeling runs through the place.
10年前の話よ。この辺り一帯で大きな火事があったんだって。火は一日燃え続けて、雨が降り出した頃に消えたんだとか。その後町は復興したけど、ここだけはそのままなの。焼け野原になって何もなくなったから公園にしたらしいわ。
Archer says nothing, but even though I can't see him, I can tell that he's feeling something special.
気づいたみたいね。そうよ。ここが前回の聖杯戦争決着の地。私も事情は知らないけど、前回の聖杯戦争はここで終結してそれきり。
なるほど。それでこんなにもここは怨念に満ちているというわけか。
わかるの？そういうの。
サーバントというのは霊体だ。そのあり方は怨念、妄執に近い。故に同じ無念には敏感なのさ。街中でも濃い場所はあるが、ここは別格だ。我らから見れば固有結界のそれに近い。
Archer brings up an unusual term in a motionless voice. Reality marble. One of the magics considered the pinnacle of magi, said to be infinitely close to sorcery. For hundreds of years, a boundary field has been the defensive field that protects magus. Put simply, it's a vicious version of a security system on a house. A boundary field is something applied to an existing area or building to protect oneself from outside enemies, but it is merely a transformation applied to what already exists. But a reality marble is different. A reality marble is an image that erodes reality. The imagined world of a magus, a boundary field that paints over reality by letting a magus heart take form. That is what we call a reality marble. In other words, it's a large-range magic that distorts, no, remakes the world as the magus wishes.
リン、どうした？考え事か？
ちょっと意外だったから。固有結界だなんて、アーチャーのくせに珍しい言葉を知ってるなって。
なんだ、知っていてはおかしいか？
だってそうじゃない。固有結界っていうのは魔術師にとっては禁忌中の禁忌、奥義の中の奥義だもの。アーチャーであるあなたが知ってるなんて筋違いよ。
Isn't that right? I asked with my expression. And then I sent him sighing heavily next to me.
リン、英雄とは剣術、魔術に長けたものを指す。 アーチャーだからといって弓しか使えないと思うのは勝手だが、私以外のサーバントにそんな楽観は持たないでくれ。
Come to think of it, he's right.
わかったわよ。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。次からは気をつけるからこれでいいでしょ。